Hello, YouTube, and welcome to our how to play of Mario Kart 8. I almost literally called it Super Mario Kart 8. I don't know why, I think it's just the whole Super Mario with me playing Super Mario 3D Land. A lot of the Mario games are called Super Mario something, but this one is Mario Kart 8. Yes, it's the Deluxe version, but this how to play will describe you how to play Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. They're both about 90% similar. I will go over the differences in this how to play. And if you want to see other Mario Kart's how to plays, we will bring those to the channels here soon. Just keep an eye on the description. I will add those in, and then we'll make a whole playlist of all the how to plays for all the Mario Karts and everything like that. So that way you guys can learn how to play every single Mario Kart. Now, most of the Mario Karts are pretty similar. I will say that. However, there are some, like I said, sometimes subtle differences to sometimes more major differences, but we'll go into those as we go through those games. But for now, we're starting with Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and we will teach you how to play this game with all the various controls. First off, when you start off the menu here, if you want some cool little ideas or tips or anything like that, if you go all the way down to the bottom below this wireless display, you'll see a little thing that looks like this that pops up. It's called Tips. If you click here, it'll give you great descriptions on how to do different things in the game, and we will be discussing these in the how to play. But for whatever reason, if you couldn't remember how to do certain techniques or do certain things, this is where you would go to relearn them. Learning from the different fields of battling when you're playing with your friends, from balloon battle all the way down to the shine thief, on the different ways of battling and all that. Like I said, these go more into the actual gameplay, and when we do our Let's Play some of this, we will go into these different types of battling and how to do them. But for now, we're just teaching you the basic controls and all that. This goes over every item and how they're used and how you can use them in the game. Very useful when you're racing for the first time for real, to know what all these items do. And then that way you can use them to your advantage. And then lastly is, like I said, these driving techniques, which we'll kind of discuss when we're going over these controls too. But it goes over everything from just how to get a better start, how to do your drifting, how to do the tricks, all that great stuff. But we'll be going over that in the how to play. But I just wanted to say, in case you for whatever reason didn't want to go all the way back through this entire video and wanted just a quick, oh wait, how do I drift without having to watch the entire time of this, and just wanted a quick thing, that will teach you how to drift real quick. So we're just going to go to a basic versus race for now. I am going to, actually, I should just play as myself. I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to be me. My name is Mitchell. I am the moderate gamer. Hello. We are, you know what, I'll use this and this and this. I mean, it's pretty basic, right? The cars and all that, which I'll go back real quick. If you want a good idea of how your car is doing, press the plus button on your Joy-Con, which is right here, right up here. Press your plus, you'll get an idea of how fast you are, how good you're going to accelerate, like when you press the A button and stuff, how well it's going to from after a break, how much you weigh, so when you're hitting somebody, if you're going to potentially get the boost over them or basically knock them off the track, how well your car handles, basically when you're making turns and stuff, and then traction, when you're going off the course, how well it does. Like mud and grass and blah, 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 blah. Every character is different. There are some more basic, some that are more fast, all that. The fatter you are, the faster you are. The smaller you are, the better handling you have. So like your baby people, like Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, have better handling and traction. So they steer better, but they lose out in the speed aspect. And as you grow sizes, you lose, like you gain speed, but you lose your handling and everything like that. So it just kind of depends on your own preference, whether you feel like you need more speed or you want more, like I said, if you're wanting to do more like the drifting and turning and do all the crazy stuff without maybe falling off the track, maybe going more toward your Mario, Luigi, Toad, those areas, because they're going to be basically an average of all these to start out. I'm just, like I said, I'm playing as myself because I figured that'd be unique. And apparently I'm a fat character, so even though I don't really look that fat. But you know, whatever. And then you can choose which race style. You can do 50, which is easy, 100, which is medium, 150, which is hard, mirror, which is also still hard, but some people consider it very hard, but it's still a 150 race, so it's kind of in the same bout. But what mirror does is flip everything. So your left turns become right turns, all that great. So basically, it's kind of self-explanatory. 200 is master. So we're going to do a basic 50 race just because it'll be easier on myself to describe everything. You can do whatever setups you want to do on this. Like I said, there's so many different game modes. We're not going to go into all that until we do our Let's Play. Mostly, like I said, this is just to do over the controls and how to kind of get basically started up. And then for the tracks, the farther they are to the left, the easier they are. So these are easier, a little bit like toward medium, now getting harder, and so on and so forth. So I would always say go to that mushroom one, go to this first track just to kind of get started out here. These are all the easier courses, and then go from there. But like I said, no matter what track you're on, whatever, each one's gonna have different turns, different things you'll have to kind of figure out. If you ever want a cool, awesome little, I don't know a better word than, I don't want to say cheat because I don't feel like it's the right term, but just better like hint into thing, go to the time trials here. And I mean, pick whatever character, it doesn't honestly matter. And then pick the course that you want to learn. So say you wanted to learn Mario Kart Stadium, and then choose this View Ghost, and then choose the number one option. It's usually the number one option. It's somebody from Nintendo. Like it'll say that NIN at the beginning. Choose that and watch it. It'll show you all the shortcuts, all the best ways to race about it, all that great stuff. Not a lot of people know that. But if you view that Ghost, it'll show you all the shortcuts, and to a good extent. I mean, it's not going to be like completely perfect on the greatest way, but it's at least going to make you faster than any of the all the way up to hard drivers. Once you go above hard, then it'll be near even, but at least you'll know how to do those shortcuts for every 50, 100, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, if you ever needed those extra hints, that's where I definitely would suggest going. Like I said, we're just going to do a basic control thing here, but I just wanted to go ahead and touch over those things real quick just because it makes it easier. And like I said, I'm going to do this Mario Kart Stadium. And then once he says go, I'm going to pause the game, because we're going to talk about the startups, all that kind of stuff. Because I want to give you guys as much hints into this game as I can, while also teaching you how to play, drive, all that beautiful, beautiful stuff throughout. But we're going to ignore this first part. There is a hint to this, but we'll talk about that in the second race. But for right now, I'm just trying to get it to go so I can pause. There we go. So when you pause, it's going to show you the controller you are using. For me, right now, you're seeing my little Joy-Con hookup here with, the two controllers on the side. All that, and it's going to show you how to use your item, what button to press. It shows the L button. For drifting, it says R, and A for accelerating. If you're wanting to drive normally, you use the left stick, like you see on the screen here. I'll show you these with the actual controller here in a second, just to better explain. If you're wanting to actually, act like it's a wheel, you press Y to turn on your turning controls, and then your steering no longer becomes your analog. So with turning off, so here's my little controller setup that's right now with me. So this is your drive here. You go forward, right, left, kind of self-explanatory. B is to brake over here. A is to accelerate. The X and Y don't do anything for the actual race itself. To use your drifting, it's back here on the R button, and your items are back here on the L button that you see there. And like I said, if you press this Y button right here, it'll activate to where now, like if I turn right, I'll go right. If I turn left, I'll go left with both controllers, obviously. Oops. For some extra added help they added on whenever you press pause, you'll see up at the top screen that it says L for smart driving. This L button for smart driving. What smart driving does is it doesn't allow your character to fall off the map as easily. Unless you purposely just are hardcore trying to fall off, it won't let you. It'll pretty much keep you always on the track and keep you on the best way to go. The only negative to smart steering is it doesn't always allow you to take those shortcuts, but otherwise it does prevent falling, and everything like that. So it is a very amazing feature, especially for those that are beginners, to use, because like I said, you won't fall off, anything like that. But like I said, if you're wanting to use a lot of those shortcuts, I suggest turning it off. Or what you could do is like right before you know the shortcut's coming up, you turn it off. Because you can turn it off and on at any point during the race. So you could turn it off for a long time and you know the shortcut's coming up, you could turn it off and then use that shortcut and then just turn it right back on to keep yourself safe. So I'm going to keep mine on just because it'll make it easier to talk through this. And another thing they introduced, if you press the R button back here on your right controller during this pause menu, it'll turn on auto accelerate, which means you no longer have to hold down the A button to drive. It'll automatically just do it for you. Hold down the A button. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't really have a preference. It seems to still make me do the same speed. I know some argue that it makes you a little bit slower, but I haven't really seen that yet. But I haven't hardcore tested it on those like rainbow roads and stuff like that. But the only bad thing to auto accelerate is like you can't just like let off the, like I said, if it's off, then you can like hold the A, and if you're feeling like you need to slow down, you can kind of like press off of it to slow down for a bit and then press right back on it. Whereas auto accelerate won't really have that. It'll automatically brake for you, automatically go for you. So it's going to prepare for those turns somewhat differently than maybe you would have. And it maybe will feel a little weird at first. But like I said, I do usually like the, definitely the auto accelerate on, but it's just all personal preference, what you feel best suits you. But like I said, mostly we're just going to go into the gameplay. A lot of this is kind of be, as you'll hear, personal preference. What vehicles you want to use, what characters you want to use, all that. But as far as playing the game itself, all the characters have the same controls, same, uses, just different ones get different benefits based on their size, their cars, their, all that great stuff. So, and like I said, I told you on that, like how to kind of check all those details so that way you can figure out maybe this is more what I designed to play. And as you play more, you'll figure out, okay, maybe I'm not doing so good when I'm super fast, so I need to kind of choose a more character that's more slower, better handling, things like that. You learn it as you play on, so definitely always play and you will learn. And as you change your controller around and all that, it will show it on here. So if I wasn't playing with the double setup that I have right now, it would show the controller in different, which like I said, there's basically three different controllers that you can use. The one that I'm using right here, the Pro controller, which is 99.99% the same as this, and just instead of it having that big part in the middle, basically these Joy-Cons are like fused to kind of look like this, and it's a controller with sides and all that. It looks still like I said, 99% similar. It just more looks like a true, like a GameCube controller than a whatever you want to call this looks like. I don't really know, a square? I don't know. And then the last way is by just one Joy-Con playing it this way, where, like you accelerate your X, you move with this, or if you have auto accelerate, obviously you don't have to mess with that, and your items are up top, and your drifting is up top, and all that. And I'll show you those. First, I wanted to go over this setup that you see before you. This will explain the controls for this one, and the Pro controller, or any USB controller that you hook up. This will explain the controls for that one, then we'll go over the single Joy-Con use, all that beautiful stuff. The last way you can kind of play is by attaching your Joy-Con back onto your Switch and putting them over here, on your sides, and plugging them in and then playing with the Switch itself. And it's the exact same controls as you're seeing before you, obviously with just a big screen in the middle. So you can do tilt or no tilt or whatever kind of pleases you. Sometimes I like playing with the Switch right in front of me. Sometimes I like that handheld, like where it's kind of like how it is positioned on my camera, where it's kind of set somewhere on a desk and I play with controllers, or docked and playing that way. So it's just kind of like I say, whatever you feel kind of feels right. Different people can do different types. I can kind of mix them up. I sometimes play on just the Switch itself. Sometimes I play with just one controller. Once you learn them all and get accustomed to them all, then you can kind of play as whatever. And that's what I always suggest people to do. Learn all the controls for all the different ways, so that way if a new friend comes along, you can be like, oh, here's the more easier controller. I'll play with the one that's got a little bit harder to use. Because you could argue maybe just playing with like something like this size and maybe somewhat harder than playing with this. But as you get more used to them, then you'll be like, all right, like it's fair for them to have a controller they'll be 100% used to, and me have to figure out something so that we're maybe on an even playing field. But anyway, enough on that. Let's go into the controls. Not that they're right now before you on the screen. I'll also turn the map on. You can, if you press the X, you can turn the map on and off. Literally just shows you where the drivers are on the screen. I like having it on, which you see at the bottom right here. Shows you where all the drivers are. So as you can see right now, I'm not pressing A, I'm not pressing anything. This is literally what it would do if you press nothing at all. The smart driving will drive for you. It will do everything for you if you literally press nothing. Like I'm literally not driving. I'm not touching my analog stick, which I can bring this over here too. This is my left analog stick. Like you're seeing me not drive. It can literally drive for you. The only negative is you won't get the items. You won't get probably anything of drifting or anything like that. So we're gonna start with the basics. If you want to, press A to accelerate. If not, just let it auto accelerate like it's doing right now. B is to brake. So if I hold my B button, you're gonna see my character stop and everybody pass by me. So see, I'm stopped. But once I let it go, I'll accelerate again. Literally, X and Y are just a horn. Or actually, I guess X shows you your mirror now. So that's, I guess, a little bit different than 8. It used to be a horn on 8. So it shows you your reverse. I don't know why you would want to drive like this, but if you wanted to drive like this, you could. And then Y is, yeah, looks like your horn. So as you see now on the top left of the screen up here, I have an item that's actually a superstar. We'll go, like I said, when we do a Let's Play, we'll go over the items, but for now, you'll just see that I have an item. To use your item, use your left Joy-Con right here, press that far back button, and you will use your item. And now, if I go left, I go left. If I go right, I go right. This is kind of self-explanatory. If I go straight, I go straight. If I press backwards, it's going to slow me down just a bit, but it's not going to make me go backwards unless I completely brake. But yeah, basically basic controls. I mean, if you want to go left, you go left. If you want to go right, you press toward the right. If you want to go more forward, you press forward. If you want to kind of slow it down, press it back. Kind of simple controls. And like I said, to use those items, you press that far back button on the left control stick. Those are the basics. The A for accelerate, B to brake, the left stick to use your items. Those are the basics. Everything else the game does for you, as you see my little glider thing, that does it automatically. All that beautiful stuff. Now into doing tricks, it's going to be very similar to drifting, but drifting is more complicated to explain. So we're going to talk about the tricks here real quick. And I just gotta we'll have to find a ramp to do a trick on. If you hold down the far back button, this far back button, and hold it down on your left control stick, it holds an item behind you that you saw me do with the banana. So you see it's behind me now. I'm not using it. As long as I hold that button down, it'll stay behind me forever. Now what you can do is use the button that you're driving with and aim it. So you can press it backwards, left, right, forward to aim the shell to aim at somebody if you wanted to. So we got a ramp coming up here. If I get on this ramp and press the R button, you see how I do a little flip? So if you press that R button on any ramp, you'll do what's called a trick, like you just saw me do right there. You press that far button to do a trick. It gives you a little bit of a speed boost and helps you out. And we just finished all 3 laps. That was really fast to finish that thing. So that does the tricks. Now we're going to talk about, because it's about to start a new race here, the startup speed boost. I'm going to just keep choosing the same track because it just makes it easier. At the very end, I'll do a new track just to show you it all is the same controls no matter what track you're on. It just kind of matters on strategy. Sometimes you can have a little more left turns or more right turns or more obstacles to go over, but overall, every track lets you do the same stuff. So to get your bonus start, press A, hold down A when 1 appears, and you'll get the bonus start. Now, I didn't, actually press it down, so I didn't obviously get it, but yeah, once the 1 appears, you hold down A, you hear your car rev up like it's, revving its engine, and you get a boost at the start of that. I guess I could have actually done it. That would have been smart. Now, for drifting, that you're seeing my character do right now, where those blue sparks, now it's orange sparks, as I got hit by a shell, so sometimes you get hit by items. That's what comes in handy if you have an item behind you. If you have an item behind you, you won't get hit by an item unless it's a blue shell. Blue shell hits you basically no matter what, but we'll talk about more of the items, like I said, when we do our Let's Play summon. I know I keep repeating that, so I'm sorry. But yeah, so you'll see me do a drift right now. So it's going to go blue, then orange. As you see it become orange. If you turn off the smart driving, you can get another bonus that's called pink ones too. So it'll go blue, orange, pink. Basically, each stage makes you go a little bit faster. So if you just do like a basic blue right there, you're going to get that little boost that you just saw. If you get orange, it lasts a little bit longer, lasts about 3 seconds. If you get the pink, then it lasts about 5 seconds of a boost. So I'm going to try to go for the orange now. There's the orange, so you see it lasts a little bit longer. And then I'll try to turn off smart driving and maybe miraculously get a pink. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but we're gonna try. I'll try for the pink to show you how much longer the pink lasts if I can get it to happen. Now, it's not gonna be able to, like I said, it's more so those very, very sharp turns that you can get that pink to activate, but here we go. Let's see if we can get it. Blue, orange, pink? Nope, no pink. I couldn't get it enough. It wasn't a steep enough turn. But there is a pink. I promise you there's a pink. And like I said, it lasts about 5 seconds. So to do these drifts, what you need to do is as you're driving, I'm obviously using my left stick to control, is when you come up to a turn, which you'll see me press it, right before the turn happens, press it down. And turn the direction you want to, and you'll do that drift. So I'm about to turn right, so hold down, and then turn right. And you'll get that drift that you see my blue, and then it turns orange. And then just let it go once you want to stop drifting, or else you'll drift right into a wall like I did when I was doing the pink. So there's me drifting. Blue, let it go. Once you feel like you've gotten enough out of it, you just let it go. So hold it down, turn the turn. Just turn whatever way you want to on the analog stick. So now turning left, holding it down. And doing all those drifts and tricks and everything like that will help you get into better places to win. Ultimately, the farther back you are, I will say, the better items you get. But obviously you want to finish in first, so when you're in first, try to keep it in first place. But if you are second or farther back, you do get better items to help you get back into first place. You'll get red shells, you'll get blue shells, you'll get green shells, invincibility stars, mushrooms to make you go faster. A bunch of different, too many items to name, but those are the 100% basics of the Mario Kart 8 controls here. And now what I'll do, since I've kind of gone over all the controls in this game for the double side, I'll show you the controls for the double side with tilt on. So I'm going to just choose a different track just to challenge myself here. Like I said, the button's going to be the same. It's just going to be a matter of being able to turn my controller. So now I'm turning off, or turning on tilt controls. Basically, it eliminates my left analog stick here. Now I'm going to have to go right, left to go left. Blah, 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 blah. I hope that's all self-explanatory. If you guys have questions on anything, if I'm not explaining something very quickly, if I'm overdoing anything, please, 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 please let me know in the comments. And it really does help me out. So I'm going to turn on this tilt controls right now. So there they are. They're on. And resume. So now we're going to go ahead and do a trick there, because why not? And then we're going to go right to go right, go left to go left. But all the other buttons are the exact same. So you still press the R to drift. I'm drifting to the left, as you just saw. And then it's still L to use your items whenever we get an item. Ooh, that guy hit me with something. I don't know what. Now, the tilt controls are definitely harder to get used to. As you see, they're a little more sensitive than using the analog stick. So definitely for more experienced drivers. I could probably do this a little better if my Joy-Con were connected like it does show on the screen, but it's all good. We're going to try to drift. Got a little bit of a drift there. We got some items for us now. So I'm pressing that L button right now, and you see me using my items. So everything else is the exact same besides how you drive. Now you're driving with your Joy-Con instead of the analog stick. So I'm going to go right to go right, go left to go left, and that will be the gist of it. I don't think you can, yeah, you can't use your analog stick at all. I guess you can. You can somehow do it, because I'm pressing left on my... So I guess you can still kind of mix it up. But do be aware that if you move your Joy-Con at all, it's going to sense your Joy-Con movements. So I guess you can kind of mix them together if you need to. But I obviously personally prefer it this way. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is change my controller up. That way you can see the last way to play with the controller. Well, two last ways that you can play with a controller. Like I said, that one explains how to do it with the Pro Controller and on the Switch itself, but I'll show you that on camera too, just because it'll be easy to do. So let's go ahead and press this. Go to versus. I gotta make sure it's gonna sense the right controller. Actually, let me go ahead and completely back out. I wonder if I can just do it with this one. Alright, let's see if I can do this. Same character, same everything. And then let's go to a harder track because it'll be fun. Hopefully when I press the start button here, it should show me the other controller, hopefully. If it's not sensing, I might have to completely do a different way if this still shows the controller that it was showing in the beginning. But hopefully this works like I want to. A, hold down A. There's the boost. There you go. There's the proof that it works. So, if I press pause, there it is. There's your controls for just one Joy-Con. So you're going to steer with this. Your items are going to be right up here, and your drifting is going to be right there. And then if you have auto accelerate off, accelerates right here. I know it shows the A button on that one, so it just kind of depends which Joy-Con you can use either side. It's the same thing. Drifting, items, steering, accelerate if you have auto accelerate off. And then obviously if you press that Y button, it'll make this now where you go left to go left, right to go right, like a steering wheel in a sense. Then there is a steering wheel attachment that you can get for your controllers if that does help you. So I'm going to turn on steering now and just show kind of going right, going left. Let's see if I can still use the analog stick. Yes, I can. And then yeah, it's still R for tricks and still L for your items, all that beautiful stuff. So here I go pressing R as I'm turning right to get this right turn drift. And then you see me doing that. Any hill, ramp, turn, you can do those tricks, drifts, all that beautiful stuff. Like I said, if you want like a hardcore imagery of just other than me, just go to those tip pages that I showed you at the very beginning, and it will give you an exact showing of how everything's done. And it does show the pink one in those tips in there. So we're going to go ahead and quit, and I'll show you the last kind of way you can play on the Switch itself. Like I said, I didn't bring my actual Pro controller just because it was more complicated. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this right to the Switch. Maybe. There goes one. There goes two. So we'll go to single player, versus again. We'll pick me again. I mean, why not? Here, we'll just show something real quick. So let's go to a baby person. So where's the baby at? There's baby Luigi. Same car, everything. Oops, didn't mean to go that far. But now if I check my stats, so you can see my speed went down, all that, but I'm now more neutral overall with him too. So, like I said, every character will change these stats. So just kind of figure out, as you drive more, like I said, you'll figure out what's more suited to you. And as you increase the difficulty, certain characters are going to do better too. So like, as it gets to very hard, you might more so want to use a different character and stuff like that. Like I said, it all just kind of will be personal preference on that type of stuff. But I always just say, start with somebody average on the easy level. Get used to that, then start mixing your way through different characters, get used with everybody, and then start increasing that difficulty and then going forward. So we're going to go ahead and we'll just do tick-tock clock. Hopefully this one works too. Worst case, it shows the Pro controller's control. But hopefully it shows me the Switch controls, but we'll figure out. I didn't get the boost there, but that was awesome. So yeah, so it does show the Switch. So that's good. So obviously the drift is the top right button way up here. So you see my finger right there. It's up here. The items are up top left up here. I can actually move my camera so you guys can see that up top left there. The steering is that analog stick right here. Or you can turn on the tilt controls and make it to where you turn left, turn right, you know, move the Switch around and do that way. And like I said, everything else you can still have auto or whatever. But I personally always just do this way, where, you know, you press the A to accelerate if you don't have auto accelerate on. But I literally could just sit here and we can just watch how well we do as computer controllers if we don't press anything at all. Or you can kind of take over. So say if you had to use the bathroom, you could just go run real quick, use the bathroom, and come back, and then just take back over. But like I said, the negatives are, if you just let it, how it's doing right now with me not touching anything, do this, is that you don't get these bonuses like right there. I could have done a trick. I can't do drifting when I'm on a computer control. You can't use your items. So there's a lot of negatives to doing that. But otherwise, there are cool little benefits, but those are basically all the controls into the game. And like I said, whenever we do our Let's Play some of Mario Kart 8, we'll go into all the different item uses, and we'll do that for we'll probably do our Let's Play some of all the Mario Karts, because there's so many different items throughout the Mario Kart universe that they are in every single Mario Kart, but there's certain ones that have exclusive ones. Like this one brought in the 8, like it looks like an infinity sign, and it gives you every item in the game besides like the blue shell, I think, and maybe one other item, I don't know, but definitely gives you basically almost 90% of the items in the game if you get the lucky 8, as we call it. And then as you go farther back, different items are introduced. Certain ones are only in certain Mario Karts, certain ones are in every single Mario Kart, but that's why I say we'll just do an all-over item thing when we do our Let's Play some of Mario Kart 8, and that's when we'll go into the different versus modes, the different everything else that can go into this game. This is, like I said, just kind of teaching someone that's never played the game how they drive, how they accelerate, if they wanted to do drifting, the tricks, all that great stuff, how to do so. And I hope this all did. If anything didn't sound, clarifications, anything like that, like I said, we're still new YouTubers and we're trying to do our best, and I'm trying to think if someone was sitting right next to me how I would be teaching them. If I'm not doing great, just please leave comments. I want to know, I want to be able to help you and get everybody to be able to learn these games and have some fun themselves. So always just leave comments if you are enjoying the commentary or think it was great. You know, let me know that too, so I know, you know, what I need to improve or not improve. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you really did love this how to play, and be sure to check out our other how to plays. We've done Smash Brothers and stuff like that. So we'll see you guys whenever the next video hits. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It really helps us out a lot, and we'll see you all in the next video. Ka-ka! Just realized I didn't tell you the differences between Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like I said, they're about 90% similar, but the main two differences between Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are, like I said, very small, but I still want to tell them to you. First off is the player selection. They added a couple new players in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version. In the Deluxe version, they added the Link that's down here, which is the Breath of the Wild Link. You see the regular Link that was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe there. They added a few new costumes to, I believe, the Yoshi, but I'm not 1000% sure. But they added the Inklings, too, from Splatoon as well in this game. So, those are the few character additions. Next, they added a few new items in the game, which the only way to see these items is go down to the tips. We'll go down to items, and they added these last two at the bottom here, the flower and the ghost. Now, those are only in the battle modes. But if you do want descriptions, all you do is click on them, and they'll tell you the description of what they do in the battle modes. And the last thing they added was the drifting feature. Like I said, in normal Mario Kart 8, it would go blue to orange, yellow, whatever you want to call that color, the second one, and then you would do the boost. Now, in this one, they added the third boost, the pink, that I talked about, which I guess I can show you real quick, because it's going to have it all up in here, so it's just easier to do. So here's the drift, and then there's the blue. You saw the boost right there with the blue. There's the orange, and those were only in Mario Kart 8, those two that you just saw. This one was added in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the pink that you see there, and it gives you a little bit longer of a boost as you see. And those are all the ones that were added in this. But yeah, that's all that was different between the Deluxe and non-Deluxe version. But I was like, oh wait, I said I was going to tell you the differences and totally forgot to do so. And yeah, and then I guess there's Labo too. I guess you could consider that too. If you have a Nintendo Labo, you can, you know, set up the wheel that Luigi's using here and drive, and with the foot pedal, or you can use Mario's little setup and just have the little basic controllers with the Switch and stuff like that hooked up. The Nintendo Labo sets actually tell you how to build these and how to set them all up. I do not personally own a Nintendo Labo or know how to do so, make these, but I'm sure if you get one, they do go into details on all that, and they do work for this game. So there's a few extra little things. And then they added, the last thing I just remembered, but they added some new vehicles too. They added like Bowser Jr.'s car. They added, I think, some of the vehicles from the older Mario Karts and stuff like that. So just a few little things there, here and there, but ultimately, as far as the driving aspect goes, no really differences, I guess, other than that drift and the few extra items in battle. But I still consider these basically 90% similar. Like I said, you can still argue they're different with those items, but they were close enough in the controls and all that to be the same. And Mario Kart Wii, I know if people are like, well, if you're considering those the same, you consider Mario Kart Wii the same. The only reason I didn't include that one in this one is because instead of Joy-Con, that was back when the Wii remote was. So I don't feel it's fair to compare this to a Wii remote when it's going to look a little bit longer and different. So that's why I'm going to consider Wii and Mario Kart 7 a little different, because they're using a whole different kind of controller. Yes, although the controls will be similar and the buttons will be similar on certain types, the ultimate control that I guess was famous with the stuff, the Wii remote, is going to be different than a Joy-Con. And like with the Mario Kart 7, it was a 3DS, so it's a little bit of a smaller screen and things like that. So it just, yeah, I get they're still minor and you could still throw them all in this, but that was the reason I didn't, just because I was like, well, maybe it's just more still of a difference. But I feel like 8 and 8 Deluxe are very, 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 very similar with Joy-Cons, all that great stuff. But, like, yeah, the only thing you could argue for the 8 is that for the Wii U version, you would have a Wii U gamepad, but it literally looks 99% similar to this. I mean, instead of just having these detachable Joy-Con, they're glued on there, and you have Wii remotes and all that. But the Wii version, whenever we do the Wii version, I'll be discussing kind of more so to the Wii Stick. So for those that have the Wii U version, will be able to understand, okay, that's how I drive with my Wii Stick if I wanted to. But ultimately, if they're playing in gamepad mode or with a GameCube controller, PDP controller, like the USB controllers, that what I just taught here should hopefully teach you guys how to play it all. But like I said, if you guys want anything more in details, more differences, any suggestions at all, I do welcome them in the comments. I do read every single one. They do help me a lot, so I know exactly how you guys are feeling, if you're feeling the same way as me is or different. And you know what, if a bunch of you are like, hey, like, let's go ahead and see the Wii U version of this, I would make the Wii U version. Or if you're wanting to more so see it all together, I could put it all together in a sense. So always let me know in the comments. Like I said, I always welcome criticism or compliments, whatever you guys want to put in there. I read it all, we take it to heart, so we know how to make you guys the best content that you guys deserve out there. So, for now, for sure, wrapping this up, we'll see you all in the next video for the next How to Play or whatever you guys want to go watch. The Let's Play songs, we got a lot of series to go check out, so be sure to do so. We love you guys, and caca to all.